Hello, my name is Julie and this is KS Mom Crochets, and today is the reveal video for the Cute Crocheted Animals collab that I'm doing with Michelle over at Michelle's Makery. And I did have a lot of fun doing this collab with Michelle, and I cannot wait to see what she decided to make. And I will have her YouTube channel linked below in the description box, so make sure that you go and check out her channel and her video to see what she is making for this collab. So in case you missed that first video, Michelle and I decided to do this book right here, which is Cute Crocheted Animals by Varnam. Michelle actually gifted me this book because it was one of the books that I did not have. I did have two of her other books, and I have worked from one of her other books, but this one is actually the first book of the series. So I do feel like after working from this book that the designer grew a lot as a designer since making this book. It's a wonderful book. Like, I absolutely loved it. I loved making my project that I'll show you here in a minute. But she did not put any kind of crocheted shaping on the heads for these animals. The clothes, the bodies, everything. I never seen any errors in the patterns that I worked out of this book because I did multiple different clothing items. And I didn't see any errors. The book is awesome. I absolutely love the way that my project turned out. But when I went into this book, I went into it as I did with the, I think it's Cute Woodland Animals. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it right here. That I made a bear out of. And in that book, and I checked her other book, there is crocheted shaping to the heads. With these, she wants you to make your own shaping using sewing. And honestly, I don't really feel like, for me, it really wasn't possible for me to achieve the look that she has with her animals with my project just using crocheted shaping. And so I did start this collab going into it wanting to do the cat, which is this guy right here, but I was going to do the female version of the cat, and that's what I decided to do. I really wanted to do the cat. Her name is Katie, which is a nickname that I call my daughter Caitlin, and I thought that would be great. I just want to do the cat. And so I started the cat, and you start with the head, and I just did not like the way that it was turning out, because sometimes you see a designer's project and you just want it to look just like the designers or similar to the designers, and when you're making a project and it's not coming out the way that the book is, or the pictures in the book do, you get a little discouraged, or aggravated, I guess. And that's what happened with this cat. So I will show you what I attempted to do, because Emma does have, or Miss Varnam or whatever, she does have a YouTube channel with videos that explained how she achieved her shaping just using a sewing method, and I just couldn't do it. Like, I tried, and this is my cat and it really doesn't look that bad in camera, but I just was not happy with this at all. I did not like the way that it was coming out. As you can tell, it is just a circle head, and in the book it appears that this cat has more of a muzzle. Maybe if I had done the color changing for the muzzle, I might have been a little bit more happy with it. But I really didn't like the way that this cat head was coming out. And there are many, many people out there that just do a circle for a head, and then you either attach a muzzle on it or you just embroider the face, and it always turns out cute. But for some reason, because of the way that the pictures looked in the book, I just didn't like it. I just did not like the way it was coming out. So I said, okay, what can I do? Because I have a lot of crochet experience when it comes to amigurumi. I make other projects too, but primarily I make amigurumi and have been for at least 10 years. So I feel like that I have enough tools under my belt to be able to make a project look the way that I want it to, even if the design may not be how... I don't want to like dog this book because it's an awesome book. Like, I still recommend this book, but I do definitely feel like that this is not for a beginner. This is for somebody that has amigurumi experience and that can change a project to be how that they want it to be, or they go into buying this book knowing that the heads of these animals are not really going to look the way that they do in the book. But I knew that I could make, just using extra stitches or putting extra rows into my project, that I could make it look the way that hers did. So I decided to change my project and go with a bunny. And this is a really long explanation, but I just wanted to explain my process. On the heads of these animals, she does make slots for the ears, so there's no guesswork for where to put the ears at. And I really, really liked that about her projects. I think that it's awesome. She eliminates a lot of sewing when it comes to putting these animals' bodies together as well. Like, the arms are sewed in. And this one, the legs are done different than the one that's in her other book. The legs are actually, you make the legs and you connect them and work on up the body like I'm used to. Her other books are a little different. The legs kind of dangle a little bit to where they can sit or stand, which is, I like that too. But I had a lot of fun making this project, and yeah, so I did, like I said, I did do the bunny, and I think that she turned out absolutely adorable. Now, as you can tell, just looking at the difference, because the heads are essentially the same. So this one was a circle, and this one was supposed to be just a circle. And so just by adding a few rows in this area, I created the shaping for the muzzle. And like I said, sometimes you may get a pattern or get a book or even a free pattern, and you don't like exactly the way that your project is turning out. You do not have to do exactly what the designer does in the book. You can change it. Use your experience from past projects that you've done, and build on that to make it the way that you want it to be, so that at the end, when your project is all done, you're satisfied with your finished object. And like I said, that's what I did. So I will tell you that on this bunny head, like I said, I made my own crocheted shaping by just adding single crochet rows. And I actually added 3 rows to this head. So I added a single crochet row after row 3, another one after row 5, and another single crochet row after row 8. And so by adding those 3 rows, like I said, it made the shaping for the head. And I do think that it turned out really cute. But now that's the only thing, that I really modified as far as the body goes, was just the head. And so what I did do is I did make the body first, because you do have to sew the head on. But the legs and the body is one piece, and then you sew the arms in as you go. And then the head, as you're making the head, like I said, there are slots for the ears to fit down in, which like I said, I really do love that so much. The arms start with a chain of 12, and I just didn't want to do that. So I did do just a normal increase for the arm and just continued with the pattern the way that it was written, and it worked out fine. I was going to do that for the feet too, but I changed my mind and just did the flat foot because it was meant to make it look like it had a flat foot. But for the arms, I didn't think that it really needed that, you know, that it was fine to start with just a circle instead of doing the chain. I was trying to get her shoe back on. So for this project, I used a 3mm hook all throughout, on the clothes, on the bunny, everything. I used Premier Basics DK in the color Fog Gray for the body. I used a Bonbon Ants yarn in the color white because she does have underwear on that are built, you know, that you just crochet into the pattern. For her clothes, I used Big Twist Menagerie in the color Blue Parrotfish for this variegated color, and then for this pink color, I used a Hayfield Bonus DK that I got a long time ago on clearance, and I think that they paired really well together. I'm really happy with how she turned out. Now for the clothes, I did, because this book consists of 5 different animals, and then you can either make those animals male or female, or you can mix and match their clothes. So whatever you see one animal wearing, another animal can wear. And I really, really do love that about this book. Now this book is supposed to be interchangeable between the books. Whether or not that's true, I'm not sure. But I do know I read that in one of her books, that you can use all the clothes to fit all the animals in all 3 of her books. For her dress, I used Lucy's tutu, and I did modify the tutu to make it into a dress. So if you're not familiar, this book is in UK terms, which means their double crochet is our single crochet. And this dress was supposed to have been done all in single crochet, you know, me following it in US terms. But I just did it the way that it was written and just did it in double crochet, and it made the dress longer. It made it too long, so I did have to take off 2 of the rows to make it the right length that I wanted, because if I had added those 2 more rows, it would have been more down here. And I liked the length that it was. But I did follow the ruffle exactly as it was written. The way that this ruffle was created was really interesting. It reminded me of those pot holders. They got the wiggle. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? It's like a pot holder, and then it's got like a wiggle design, and you're crocheting around the posts of your stitches somehow. But that's how it reminded me of how this was created. Like, you didn't even have to reattach your yarn. You just kept going with both of the rows. And I really liked the way that it turned out. There's a skirt in this pattern and or in this book that I thought about doing, but I really just wanted to do a dress. And so that's why I modified the tutu. I also did Lucy's headband. I did have to add a few stitches to this headband to make it fit. And it does have a button on it so that it is removable. But I think that I stuff more than she does. So, you know, that can accommodate for that too. And I think that it was placed on the head a little different, but I really wanted it to go all the way to the bottom of the head like it is. And so, yeah. I think on the dress too, also on the top of the dress, I'm sure it's hard to see, but I did do a crab stitch around the top of the dress in the pink, just to break up that variegated a little bit and to tie the skirt part of the dress with the top. And I tried to, like, you know, use the colors in all of her accessories except for the jacket. The dress and the headband are supposed to be are shown in the book on the mouse. And then for the shoes, I used the Fox's shoes, Evie's shoes. I really liked how they had the little bows on them. I thought that it coordinated with the headband, and it was a way to incorporate 2 different colors as well and to tie it into the dress. And so that's what the back looks like. I really like how it turned out. For her jacket, I used Katie's jacket, which is the cat in the book, and I really liked the way that this jacket turned out. Now, I did change the jacket because I am not a clothes making person, and so the way that she was explaining how to do it, I feel like that you would need to know what that means. Like, she was using words like raglan, and I can't remember exactly. It's been a little bit since I did that, but I didn't understand the way that it meant or what she was saying because I don't have clothes making experience. So when it came to this jacket, I feel like it was past my skill set, but I did make it work. All I did, because it's made in a back panel, and then you have the 2 front panels, and then somehow you're supposed to, you're supposed to crochet the sleeves and then attach them somehow, and then it has like a border that you put on the jacket as well. And I just didn't understand how that she was saying to, because I had read ahead, I didn't understand how she was saying to attach the sleeves, so I just crocheted them on. I went ahead and seamed up the jacket, and I just crocheted with slip stitches on the inside, the front panel to the back panel, front panel to the back panel, and you can see it a little bit, but it doesn't look bad, I don't think. I just attached my yarn to the opening for the sleeve, where the sleeve would go, and just made a sleeve out of single crochets, and just kept trying it on her until it fit, and that worked out fine for me. As far as the collar and all that, I did follow the pattern for that, and did what she said to do. And then I just attached these clear buttons because I felt like, because I thought about using these brown buttons that I used on the headband, but I felt like that it would take away from the jacket. So I didn't really want to do that. And also I did make the little granny square purse, and I did alternate the colors that I used. Again, I changed the purse to eliminate some of the sewing. I feel like with the animal, she eliminates a lot of the sewing, but with the clothes, like the jacket for instance, and this purse, there was more sewing than I cared to do, so I did change that. And I mean, I think that it was supposed to have like a side to where that it wasn't together like that, like it was supposed to be wider on the sides, and I didn't figure that mattered too much. I think that it looks fine the way that I did it. So basically I just crocheted the the granny squares together, and then just made the strap, and it worked out fine. And so this is my project for the collab, like I said, that I'm doing with Michelle over at Michelle's Makery. And I really did enjoy doing this collab so much. I really love the way that this project turned out. I think that she turned out so cute, and this is definitely one of those projects that I don't think I'll be able to give away, because I just love the way that she turned out and the way that she looks. And I would definitely make more projects out of this book, but I would go into it with the knowledge that I'm going to have to do some work to the faces of these animals, or just be fine with embroidering them, or just go into this project knowing that I'm going to not have an animal head that looks like hers, because I don't really know how that she achieves the look that she gets just from sewing. But like I said, her other 2 books do have shaping to the faces, so I do feel like that she grew as a designer, or maybe she took feedback from people when she released this book, because this book is pretty old, I think. Yeah, this book came out in 2016. So, I mean, it's not like super old, but it's an older book. And so I do feel like that she grew as an amigurumi designer, and that she changed the way that she made her animal heads in her future books. So yeah, don't forget to go and check out Michelle over at Michelle's Makery and see what she made out of this book. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see, what animal she chose, what clothes pieces she chose. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed seeing it. And until next time, guys, I will see you in another video. Bye.